amazing things to help others. Remember to tune in every Tuesday morning at 10, starting soon.
The voice of Stockton.
This is Barbara Barrigan-Perea with Delta Flows, a radio show by the Voice of Stockton and Restore the Delta. This is the weekly radio show where we discuss everything Delta related: the environment, water management, water quality, farming, history and culture, public events, recreation, Delta food, and the arts. Tune into Delta Flows on KXVS, the Voice of Stockton, streaming live on Facebook and YouTube at KXVS Radio.
KXVS, the Voice of Stockton, live. The Voice of Stockton at Stone Soup Studio. KXVS.org.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program do not necessarily reflect those of KXVS, the Voice of Stockton, or its parents, affiliates, management, and staff.
Good morning, Stocktonians, and welcome to another exciting episode of Tales and Tips. I am honored today to have with me Jonathon Smith, who's a battalion chief with our fire department, as well as Ken Johnson, who's a division chief, and we're going to talk about everything fire in Stockton. Before we get to that, I'm going to give a shout out to our amazing professional basketball team that we are so fortunate to have in Stockton, Rockets Team Trouble, and they are going to have a game this Saturday, the 3rd at 2:09 at the arena. Go and support our team. This is a wonderful opportunity. These are all local players, and they are going to do great things for our community. So please remember to go and support them. A lot of the tickets are still free, and that, once again, that is this Saturday, February 3rd at 2:09, and that's at the arena. All right, let's talk about fire in Stockton. I'm going to start with you, Jonathon. Talk about how you became a firefighter, how long you've been a firefighter, your different vocations in that.
Well, I became a firefighter in 1993. Basically, I became a firefighter because my dad was a firefighter in the city of Los Angeles.
Wow.
And so I was a firefighter for a while, and then I drove the fire engine as an engineer. Then I promoted to captain, and then after captain, I was in the fire marshal's office for a little bit here locally, and then I am currently a battalion chief.
Awesome.
I drive the fire SUV.
The fire SUV, I love it. All right, and Ken, go ahead. Can you tell us your background as well?
Sure. Well, out of college, I started working on an ambulance in Southern California. I was testing for the fire departments. I came to Stockton in 1998 and worked as a firefighter paramedic on the engine company. I spent several years there on Company 4s, which is our centralized firehouse in North Stockton off Pacific Avenue. Promoted to driver or engineer, worked in that rank for about 3 years. Then I promoted to captain, company officer, and I worked at Company 4s as well for about 10 years. And then I took on the role of battalion chief for just a short period of time, and then promoted to division chief of training, and that's where I sit right now. My responsibilities are to oversee the EMS side of the house, which is our emergency medical services, our fire training, our fire academy.
Wow.
And so that's where I am right now.
Lots of things to oversee.
Right.
So for those of our listeners and viewers that don't know what it means to be a driver, obviously you're driving the vehicle, but what other responsibilities do you have? Are you still fighting the fires when you're doing that? Are you?
So it all depends on when you arrive on scene of a structure fire. We have somewhat of a playbook that as we get on scene, certain roles are taken as responsibilities as you arrive. So the first arriving engineer or the driver of the pumping apparatus would actually park the vehicle, would secure a water supply, would transfer the operations from being a driving apparatus to a pumping apparatus, and would start pumping the hose line. So there's hydraulics, there's math involved in that. So the fire engine is more than just a vehicle. It actually has a large pump that can pump volumes of water through it to help put out fires.
Awesome.
You could also drive the truck as it's firefighter engineer. We call them drivers. They drive. You could drive the truck as well, and the ladder truck that has the guy in the back. Mm-hmm. You're driving the front, and then you show up and you do other jobs that the truck company does, which is different than the engine.
Okay.
You're going to ventilate. You're going to go in and search. You're going to maybe cut a hole in the roof, stuff like that.
Okay, so tactical stuff.
Correct.
Okay. All right. And how do you like qualify for some of these different things? Obviously, you start out at a certain level and then you move up ranks, but it sounds like there's some options.
So here very soon we will be recruiting for the position of firefighter, which requires that you have a high school diploma, that you are a resident of the United States of America, that you have a clean background check and a driver's license, 18 years or older. And we put you through a comprehensive training process through the Fire Academy, and we actually accreditate you towards the Firefighter 1 and Firefighter 2 standards from the State Fire Marshal's Office of California.
Awesome.
So that's the entry-level position. Now, paramedic school, we require that all of our members be at minimum an emergency medical technician, which is one course, and it's a national emergency testing process. But past that, there is paramedic school, which takes most folks about 2 years to complete. It's a didactic classroom setting, there's a hospital setting, and then an actual ride-along component, which qualifies you to be a licensed paramedic within the state of California.
Awesome.
So that's those two positions. And inside that rank, there are other specialties. We have a water rescue program, a hazmat program, a heavy rescue program. And those disciplines in themselves have their own tracks of study to follow, which would be done on an individual basis. To promote through the ranks, as far as to promote from firefighter to engineer to captain to battalion chief, we have a civil service testing process that each candidate will go through, which in most instances includes a written assessment, some type of manipulative or oral assessment to validate the candidates.
Awesome. And I noticed when you talked about what it takes to qualify, you did not say an age limit at all, that they had to be under a certain age,
right,
and they don't have to live in Stockton.
No, we are encouraging members of Stockton to apply. It's always awesome when you get a chance to protect your hometown.
Definitely.
We like that hometown pride, but we allow an open recruitment process for all ages greater than 18, and both for men and women to apply.
And
Awesome.
you even high school diploma, you can have a GED and apply.
Awesome.
So it's not limited to anything. We're really one of the only organizations out there as far as fire services that have a very, very low entry requirement.
Well, and you want people, and we need people. And when we were talking at one time, I think I asked you about women, and we don't have any women firefighters. Is that correct?
Correct. At this time, we have had women firefighters. We do have women in the fire service with us that help us. We have inspectors that are women. We do have administrative staff that are women.
In our dispatch center.
And our dispatch center has women as well.
Awesome. And that's just interesting, and hopefully over time that will change. What percentage of members would you say go on to become paramedics?
A percentage? I would
Or
say
is there a good amount?
a majority of our members
Awesome.
have gone to paramedic school.
Excellent.
Over a half. I mean, on our fire engines, typically we'll have 2 paramedics per fire engine and 1 per each truck company that we have.
Wow.
We try to keep that at two paramedics per fire engine, and and we've always had that standard, that level that we've kept, and we're
That's
trying
awesome.
to maintain that.
That's awesome.
It's very beneficial.
The way that the city has planned out the firehouses is to get a fire engine to your home as quickly as possible. And
Of course.
the paramedics that are on the fire engine have the same skill sets as those who you find on the ambulance. The difference
Awesome.
between the two is the ambulance has the responsibility for the transportation to the hospital. There's very many instances in which when the ambulance arrives on scene, the firefighter paramedic will assist the ambulance to whichever hospital they're transporting to as a partnership. So
Awesome.
they're the same level of care. We carry the same equipment with the exception of the gurney and the ambulance.
Yeah.
Very cool. Awesome. And how many firehouses are there in Stockton?
12.
So we have
There's
12 firehouses, which equals 12 fire engines. And then
Okay.
in addition to that, we have 3 fire trucks that are housed in the same houses of an engine company. So fire station number 2, fire station number 3, and fire station number 4 are the 3 that have truck companies.
Awesome.
2
And
truck companies on the south side, 1 truck company on the north side.
what is a truck versus an engine?
So in simple terms, the engine is hose and water and paramedics. And the fire truck is rescue equipment, tall ladders, extrication, the jaws of life, which people commonly refer our auto extrication tools as. In simplest forms, the individuals in the truck most likely are those who are highly trained in rescue techniques. And not being that said that the fire engine folks don't understand how to rescue. It's more of this the niche of the fire truck to perform search and rescue, to perform extrication. And in addition to having truck companies, one of our truck companies is actually assigned as our heavy rescue company, which takes those rescue skills to the next level. And it provides a large cache of tools, things that can lift very heavy objects or cut through concrete or make egress into collapsed areas.
Awesome.
And then our truck 3 would also be our hazmat truck. So it's kind of a dual function there as well. The city of Stockton Fire Department has responsibility to respond to hazardous materials incidences. And we have a team that can assess and address those situations.
And it's important to note, we have a lot of major thoroughfares of transport of chemicals and sort of hazardous materials through the railways that go north and south, east and west, and also the I-5 and 99.
Which makes sense. We're such an agricultural hub. We have lots of chemicals going through.
And the port as well. It's a highly industrial, highly agricultural. So it's good that we have a team that's ready to respond, and we also respond with the county on that as well.
That's awesome. And one of your engines and trucks came out to ER about a year ago when we had that dog stuck in that huge tire, and we were worried that you might need to cut him out.
Right.
So that was pretty cool. Talk about the water rescue team. I think we're one of the few cities that have that.
We're one of the few cities that have a surface team that is also a subsurface team.
Okay.
So not only will we try to attempt to rescue on those who are involved in swift water, but we can also go under the water with scuba gear and assess the needs that are there as well. We have the responsibility of many waterways throughout our community, to include also the Highway 4 corridor. We respond out there frequently for vehicles that are in the water submerged, and our dive team is either there to assist with whatever needs might be or perform rescue.
Awesome. And you guys, I should mention, also came out and worked at the food bank when there was a baby seal as well recently.
Yes.
So that was pretty awesome. It's wonderful to hear the humanitarian things. I mean, obviously there's things that are part of your day-to-day, but it's neat to see that you reach out in the community and help with other things. And you reach out beyond our community. I know you were called out recently to fires and mudslide areas. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, we throughout our career, throughout our time in the fire department, we're called throughout the state of California and outside of the state as well.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, outside we can go to Washington. We've gone to Yellowstone. Texas. Yeah, Galveston, Texas. We've gone to Yellowstone. We have teams that go on wildland fires throughout the state and the country, and we also have a water rescue team that goes to Galveston, Texas.
Wow.
So the state of California and the federal government, we have a mutual aid process. And we all know that when a large-scale event happens, you won't have enough adequate resources. And so we use this mutual aid process where we help our neighbors, so the surrounding communities, like the area of Napa during those fires, to help them fight those fires. And the idea is, as we help them and participate with them, they would also help us if that was an issue. If we kind of go back to one thing, you mentioned about the humanitarian side of the fire department, I always like to convey that our firefighters in Stockton, they live in firehouses a third of the year.
Wow.
And so that's their neighborhood. Those are their neighbors, their friends. They become interconnected with the people who are around their firehouses and throughout the city. And we want the citizens to know and view the firehouse as a safe place. We have it as a safe and surrender location for babies, or for mothers who have newborns, or for kids who are just lost. They can go to a firehouse and we'll help reunite them with their families. But we're there to be a part of the community. Yes, obviously we're there to perform a role, and that's to protect in the event of an emergency. But we also live there, and we want to be connected with the community.
That's awesome, and I'm glad you pointed that out. And there's another humanitarian story from, I think, a year and a half ago. There was a young boy who's ill, and you took him on a ride through town, and people came out and supported that. Do you want to talk about that? That was phenomenal.
Well, whenever we have an opportunity to participate with Make-A-Wish, it's a win-win all the way around. It's good for those individuals who are involved. It's good for the children to have their wish granted.
Yes.
It's good for the souls of the firefighters because you feel like that all of that is good. We are always looking for opportunities to be involved with the community and to really rally the community. And in that exact instance, the whole community participated.
Yes.
They were standing on street
People
corners,
I was
cheering.
going to say streets front.
Right.
were lined with people cheering,
Right.
which is awesome. And I'm sure he felt like a king. And,
Right.
and that's a phenomenal experience that no one else could have created for him,
Right.
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 which is great. All right. So how many firefighters roughly do we have in Stockton?
Roughly 180.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how many calls a day on average?
So just to throw a number out there, over 140 calls a day. We ran just about 50,000 calls last year. Our busiest engine company is Engine 2, just about 6,000 calls. It's significantly up over the past 20 years that I've been here. Part of those calls for service, the increase is medical calls. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of members in our society that have medical ailments, and sometimes it falls on the 911 system to get them to the hospital. Our population has been increasing. We have a homeless problem in Stockton that we're trying to assess and address and better understand. And sometimes those members of the community need our help as well.
And sometimes their doctor is the emergency room doctor. They don't have a doctor that they go to. Right. Maybe it's closed after hours, and so they utilize the 911 system as their doctor. So that puts an impact on the system there. And kind of to put it in perspective, City of Lodi roughly has 7,000 calls a year. That's close to one of our fire engines. One of our fire engines runs the same amount, and Lodi has 4 fire engines there. So they're busy as well with 4 fire engines, but we're over the top busy. It's just Stockton has always been busy. It's just getting busier.
And I was going to ask you that question. How do we compare to like Modesto or Lodi or Sacramento or even LA in terms of the number of firehouses and firefighters and the calls?
I don't have their specific numbers right in front of me. I know Modesto is a very busy fire department. LA City, LA County, they have a lot of calls for service every day, but they also have over 100 companies to address those calls.
Okay, so their resources are just a lot higher.
Yeah, I think you have to break it down more as far as your number of firefighters you have per population or per number of calls, and we're right up there at the top. I would put us probably in the top 10 busiest in the nation.
And it's amazing, when I went through the Leadership Stockton program and we were at the firehouse downtown, when he was talking about the number of calls you get a day and per year, it's astounding, because yes, you might hear a fire engine now and then, but you don't realize that's a lot of calls a day.
It is.
Right. Yep. Could I put out a little public safety announcement? If you do see a fire engine responding through Stockton, and it happens many times a day, we ask that you just please pull to the right and stop. We want to decrease the number of vehicle accidents that happen with our fire engines and with our community, and we're not doing anybody any good if we get into an accident. And so, excuse me, if you do see, can you take this one?
Yeah, if you do see one, pull the right and stop. We have just with that many calls, we're out and about, and sometimes we're driving a longer distance because another company is out. But yeah, it really helps. If you pull the right and stop, we'll get past you and we'll get going down the road.
I'm glad that you brought that up. Are there other ways that the community can help you?
Well, if you check your smoke detector, that'll really help us. We in Stockton, we respond to several fires a year, typically over 400 in a given year. When I'm saying fires, those are structure fires that involve buildings, and oftentimes those buildings have occupants inside. And so, when we really stress that every home have smoke detectors in every bedroom, that they're in their hallways, that you check your ways out of the house. There's not bars on your windows taking away your ability to egress out of the house, and that you take your family and you have a plan. If you have a fire in your house, there should be some meeting location outside of your house where you can all rally together. Fire doubles in intensity every minute, and a small fire becomes a big fire before you realize it. And there's many, many reports of people who try to run to another room to grab a fire extinguisher, and they come back and the fire is overwhelming them just in that short period of time. So that we ask, if you do have a smoke detector that goes off in your house, you investigate and there is a fire, get all of your family out of the house immediately and try to be out front. The fire engine arrives on scene, that company officer is going to do a quick interview to say who's here, who's not here, where was the last known location, and we will go back in and get your loved ones if they were left behind. Pets, don't go back for your pets.
A lot of people want to do that. They ask me about that.
They
all
get
the
out.
time.
Yeah, they get out, or they meet us in the doorway, and they're not vicious. They want to just get the heck out of the fire.
And if we find them, we'll help them on their way.
Yeah. an important thing to do is keep your doors shut at night. It's amazing. And I'm talking about your bedroom doors. If your door is shut, that's a safe haven for you in that bedroom.
Right.
Fire will actually burn outside in your hallway, and it will could burn for 30 minutes, and you could be okay inside of that bedroom.
That's a great tip.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
it keeps
a
the
wonderful
smoke
tip.
out, which is going to kill you faster than the fire, but it keeps your property inside as well.
Right.
What about putting a towel at the bottom of the door if you think there is a fire?
Definitely a good idea.
Right.
Yeah.
Wet, dry?
Whatever you
matter?
can do. Yeah, either one.
Okay.
If wet if possible, but if
Okay.
you don't have that availability, then just dry.
And what about having a fire extinguisher checked? Can they come to a firehouse for you to look at a fire extinguisher?
No, not at a firehouse, but you can take that to a fire extinguisher company that checks them.
Okay.
But the best thing to do is just to have an extinguisher. You can buy them at Costco. For the cost of checking them, you can probably buy a new one. As
Okay.
long as it's in the green, you're good to go on that.
Target, I think, has them too.
Target has them. All the major retailers have it. But really, going back to that smoke detector or smoke alarm is what they technically are. That's your best bet. That's your best bet for safety. And now they make them with a 10-year battery. So you don't even
Awesome.
have to worry about a dead
Awesome.
battery. And that's sealed in there.
And
Yeah.
they have a carbon monoxide detector with that as well. in
They do. They
combination.
have that as well. Yep. But really, that smoke alarm is that's the number one thing that's going to save you in a fire at night.
You know, more times than not, when we are responding to these fires, the fires are starting in functional locations. They're either the kitchen, the garage, the laundry room. Sometimes they're due to unattended things. You know, you're not paying attention to what you're cooking. You're leaving machinery working in the garage, or you don't clean your dryer vents. We just ask, some general housekeeping is a good way to prevent fire.
That's a good point.
When you cook, especially when you're using oils or frying, to have a lid nearby, and if you have some kind of a flash fire, sliding the lid over the top will extinguish the fire. We have every year we have people ask about, can you throw flour onto a grease fire? Flour is combustible, and that causes problems. But to use the proper extinguishing agents on those. In the garage, don't leave your car running in the garage. Especially the carbon monoxide issue that takes place, it can cause you some problems. And two, we see oftentimes people are working on their vehicle inside the garage, and soon thereafter they work on their vehicle, they have some kind of a problem with either fire or something.
And we've had people that have had electrical issues, or they have their power off, or in a time of emergency when, let's say, we have storms and the power is off, don't use candles. Candles cause a lot of fires. It's better just to use a flashlight and have a flashlight ready.
That's a good point. And you mentioned earlier about the homeless, and I'm on the homeless task force. In Sacramento last night, a woman died who was, I think, a mother of 4 due to they were basically camping in an abandoned house. And I think there were issues related to candles or something else. And it's just really tragic. And I think your point is great about the flashlights. And I know a lot of people are now using the candles that aren't actual fire.
Right.
But so many people don't realize how much of a risk that candles are.
Candles are a huge risk. That and actually a couple times a year we have people that run a generator in their garage or in their house to run electricity, and it's just a bad deal right there. If you don't have electricity, you need to get electricity. If you run a generator in your garage, you're asking for trouble.
Problems.
You're going to get carbon monoxide poisoning.
Yeah. No, it's sad that we have people that are doing things as a last resort, and it's just very risky.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's talk about positive things. Let's talk about the crab feed that's coming up.
So we have a crab feed that's coming up. It's our installation dinner for our union. That's going to be coming up on the 3rd, is it?
The 2nd.
The 2nd.
Isn't it Thursday?
Yes, I believe it's sold out already.
Yay!
I know.
It's Friday.
Friday.
Friday,
It is
sorry.
Friday coming up. But it's an installation dinner, and we're going to have a great time there. It's to celebrate our officers that belong in our union, and it's just to support the general welfare of the firefighters.
Excellent. And you're going to be selling some T-shirts there that we'll
We
talk
are.
about.
Yes.
And hopefully some tickets to a bowling event that we'll talk
Definitely.
about. But I'm going to let you talk about the memorial now and kind of the history of the memorial and what's going on with the memorial.
Right. Yeah. Go ahead.
So we had a tragic event that happened in 1997 where 2 of our firefighters were killed in a house fire trying to rescue a citizen of Stockton. And this was before my time by a year. The members at that time decided that they wanted to memorialize all firefighters who had passed away in the line of duty in the city of Stockton as a way to heal from the event that they had just went through. So they erected the Firefighter Memorial at McLeod Lake and dedicated it back in October of 1998. Since that time, the Stockton Firefighters Relief Association has maintained the memorial. It was paid for and funded by the Relief Association and the local 456 for the Stockton Fire Department. And when it was placed at McLeod Lake, it was a gift to the community just to help memorialize a sacrifice that Stockton firefighters have made, and that we are here present in the community for the protection of the community. You know, for over the better part of 20 years, that memorial stood at McLeod Lake as that symbol. And as we went through the recession, we started noticing some vandalism that was done to the memorial itself. There was plaques that were stolen. There was graffiti that had happened, just some general damage to the area. And we have a fund to help repair or replace the stolen plaques or the damage that's done to the memorial. Well, as the committee would address the funds that funded the damage, we noticed that we had spent a majority of that fund down repairing it, and we needed to find a better alternative for its location. So unfortunately, we decided that it needed to be moved from its current location and find another location. So a lot of survey monkeys were done, and just discussions were made to, you know, where would be the best place for this to be placed within our community. Fire Station 6 was where Brett Laws, who was one of the firefighters who passed away, was assigned. Fire Station 6 is at Victory Park off Picardy next to the Hagen Museum. Inside the Hagen Museum, we have a fire department presence. We have Historical Society has a fire engine and some of our historical documents down in the basement of there. And we thought if we placed the memorial in a location that has historical significance at a firehouse that has historical significance in an area that is heavily trafficked by citizens of Stockton. Victory Park is probably one of our busiest parks in a neighborhood community, and that the homes around Victory Park have really adopted the firehouse and the firefighters who work there. They feel like they're very connected with that community.
That's awesome.
And we thought that this would be a perfect location to celebrate the sacrifice the firefighters have made and to be a symbol to the community that we're here to protect them.
Yes, and you know, probably the final straw for us was the vandalism that happened. We had theft of some of the brass that was there, but then someone went and spray painted the face of one of the faces on the memorial, and it was just a point where we said, you know, enough's enough. We don't have enough people looking out for this. We can't drive by here 24 hours a day. We can't post a security guard here, so we had to do something. We had to decide to move it, and we came up with Victory Park, which I think is going to be even better for the memorial. We're going to have...
and the tie-in with the Hagen
yes.
is perfect.
And it should be a little bit better display and grounds. We're going to have a nicer area that's pretty much our own, that we're not necessarily sharing with other memorials. This will have some nice benches to sit on. People can relax as they're going around the park. They can look at the memorial. They can interact with it. It's still going to be at ground level. It's still something that you can go up to, you can touch, you can go see, feel, and really look at the artist sculpting that she did with the bronze. And this is a local lady, Betty Salita out of Oakdale, made this memorial 20 years ago.
And it will give more contact with the community. And I didn't realize that a firefighter that passed was from that firehouse. So that just brings it full circle. And I love also that the initial drawings were done by the daughter of one of the firefighters.
Correct. Yes, we had one of our captains, Eric Patton, his daughter drew the picture, the artist rendition, which is beautiful. It kind of shows you what it's going to look like at Victory Park. And now it's really just getting the groundwork done, getting the plans, and fundraising for this, because it's going to be very costly.
Yes.
to move over there.
Yes. And even though you guys are able to do a portion of the work yourself, it's still going to be expensive.
Correct.
And that's part of the reason that the Stockton Host Lions, my Lions Club, has stepped up, and we're actually going to be hosting a bowling event, the Fire Bowl, Saturday, April 7th at Pacific Bowl, starting at 10 a.m. And you can contact me for signups, but we do have a sign up on Facebook with a link to Eventbrite. And at your crab feed, we're going to be selling tickets there.
Yep.
And you guys are going to be selling T-shirts.
Yes,
You
we're
wanna
going to
talk about
sell
the T-shirts?
memorial T-shirts. They have a picture of our memorial on them. Really good looking T-shirts that are. The artwork is done by one of our own, Kevin Taylor. He's a graphic design guy, and he does a whole lot of great work for us. That's going to be one of the T-shirts that's available for $25. All the proceeds are going to go towards the cost of the memorial, and then we really appreciate that bowling tournament that's going on the 7th to see what we can do there. See if we can get a lot of teams and have some good friendly competition. Just
If we
come
can
out.
have competition between the firehouses,
Oh, yes.
that would be very
definitely.
awesome.
I believe that we're going to come up with something like that, a trophy for the firefighters to see which is the best team.
And how can someone get a T-shirt who can't go to the crab feed or to the bowling event? Who can they contact?
So we haven't announced that just yet. We're going to be working on a way to get those donations out for everyone to be able to participate in.
Okay.
We'll leave that to a future time.
All right. And I know you did have a post on the firefighters. Is it the relief page or the
I believe it's the Stockton Firefighters Local 456 through
Okay.
our union.
All right. So
And the
someone
Historical
can still
Society as
donate
well.
on that.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
All right. And then at some point, depending on T-shirt availability, there will be an option for the public.
Yes.
And I know you said that the crab feed tickets are all sold, but definitely the bowling is just beginning. And if anyone out there is interested in bowling and coming to help support to protect and relocate this amazing memorial, that would be phenomenal. Is there anything else that you'd like to add?
We're
related-
probably going to have brick sales as well for the memorial. You can purchase a brick. I'm not sure the exact price on that yet, but that's something that we'll have along with T-shirts at a future date. I'd stay in contact with our Facebook site that we have.
And that'll be through the Relief Association.
Yeah, through the Relief Association, but there should be more information there.
And you said the T-shirts are going to be $25.
Correct.
All right, and I'm excited about that. Is there anything else that you'd like to add, just related to fire in general and the community?
Well, I'd like to add that the city of Stockton is it's a wonderful place for us to be able to serve, and for the fire department and for all city departments. I know that we are all here to hopefully promote civic life and unity and community, and that we are here preparing ourselves so that in the event that you have an emergency, that we'll be ready to help mitigate whatever problems you might have.
Well, and the other thing that I think a lot of people don't realize is, just like what you said earlier, how quickly a fire can escalate or other issues can escalate. And I see this just dealing with emergency issues with animals. It's always easier and better to do something and ask for help sooner versus later.
Right.
The outcome is just so much better.
Right.
Definitely.
All right. Well, awesome. I just found a picture of your memorial, and I'm going to share that in just a minute. How can someone who's interested in being a firefighter start the process of trying to become one?
So I say that the very first step of any process is you should go knock on the door of a firehouse and ask some questions of people who are firefighters to see if this is truly what you desire to do. Firefighters love to talk about how they've entered into the profession and they love to be a part of the community. So I think the best way is to engage with the firefighter. Oftentimes people see us out in the community. They see us on calls. They see us at schools doing inspections, and sometimes they even run into us at the grocery store. And we get asked questions like, well, why are you guys at the grocery store? Well, we are at work for 48 hours. And it's a family at the firehouse, and so we'll go to the store and buy the provisions for lunch and dinner, and we'll make those when we get back to the firehouse. So if you see us at the grocery store, you ask us questions as to how to be a part of it. Now the city has, on the city's webpage, they have links at the fire department to show you towards how to apply for the process. But
awesome.
If I gave some advice, it'd be to be as physically fit as you possibly can, to keep a very clean background and record.
Right. Driving record. All those things count as much as just be a good citizen. And then be ready for a very intense 20-week training session in the fire academy.
And it's 20 weeks. All right. And where do you get most of your recruits from? Do you recruit at all at like Delta College, or where do most of your recruits come from?
The City Stockton Fire Department has a recruitment team that goes out throughout the community. I know they're involved at Delta College, at University of the Pacific, at job fairs. They strategically are trying to get to areas of our community so that our hiring practices reflect the demographics of our community. So they're pretty active in their recruitment.
Awesome. It's important. I'm going to try and show, as soon as he zooms, I'm going to show a picture of the memorial. Can you switch?
Next one after there you go.
All right, and there's the beautiful statue.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to protect. And talk about the October 11th date and our hope that it's going to be relocated and have a ceremony on October 7th.
Yeah, October 7th, we're going to have a dedication ceremony. That's when we plan on having the memorial done and unveiling.
Hopefully.
Yes, hopefully,
We're
with
working on
everything
that.
right. Yeah, as long as our donations come in and we get the work done on time and the weather cooperates with us and everything else. We should have that dedication October 7th, unveiling, a rededication, invite the community out there, and just really give this memorial back to the community and just have a big celebration.
And this past year, one thing that was really amazing to me is even though the memorial was already taken out of the ground at McLeod Lake, you returned there with the memorial in a truck to have the anniversary, and that's how meaningful this is.
Yes.
To you guys. Do you want to talk about that?
It's on a trailer. One of our members actually donated a trailer to put it on, so it is mobile right now. We don't like to move it a whole lot because of it's priceless to us. Mm-hmm. So we do bring it out for special occasions, and we wanted to show people and rededicate. Get people going and thinking about the memorial, because that's sacred ground over there where we have the memorial. It's an area where firefighters can go to a place of healing. Mm-hmm. And it's not just the firefighters, it's for the community as well. It's because we had a huge partnership with the community with this memorial, and it's really helped put some closure with the events that happened back there in '97. It was a healing process for the fire department and also for the whole community.
And that's beautiful that you said that. And one of the other things that I really like about the Firehouse 6 is that you're going to be able to have 24-hour security because the firefighters are going to be there. And so the statue will be much more protected. And you had also mentioned to me about doing some facade upgrades at the firehouse so that it's more in line with how the Hagen Museum looks.
Yes. Well, and we hope we can get the city to clean up maybe get a new paint job and a new roof on the firehouse there, landscaping as well, to make it look a little nicer over there. Maybe paint a little different the door and the apparatus door, kind of freshen it up for this nice new memorial that's going to be there. And I think it will be a great added addition to Victory Park. It's already it's the highest walked park out there. People are walking by all the time. The fire engine's backing in all night long, and we're going to have better lighting on the memorial that should make it look really nice at night. And
you talked about a fountain and some flowers and benches. as well as your Maltese Cross.
Yes.
And it's just going to be very symbolic, and it will just pay great tribute to those that have given the ultimate sacrifice for protecting our community.
Yes, I think so.
Part 2, with the memorial being in the park, we hope that the kids, the youth of that area or of Stockton will enjoy the memorial as well, and maybe even inspire them one day to be part of the fire department.
That would be awesome.
We wanted to make sure that we didn't deny access to the kids who want to go up and touch it, because there's something tactile about the memorial that is affirming of the heroism of what people have done, and we want to maintain that.
Yes, and that would be phenomenal if it motivated them to want to be a firefighter.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
That would be awesome. Well, I know several people are working hard to make this a reality for October 7th, and hopefully it will all go through, and we'll have our bowling event April 28th, and you have your crab feed this Friday, and the pieces are falling together. Hopefully it just all comes out the way we want it to.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
And I'm so excited that both of you were here on the show today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm going to sign off. I am the voice of Stockton. You are the voice of Stockton. We are the voice of Stockton. Let's make it a great day.